Welcome to The Fight with Teddy Atlas, presented by Dynamic Striking. I'm Ken Rideout, joined as always by Boxing Hall of Famer and legendary trainer, the great Teddy Atlas. Teddy, how you doing?
You're too kind. You're too kind. You're always so nice to me. And
You're my friend, brother. I love you.
You're so nice to me. I thank you for that. It's always nice to be loved, and it's appreciated. We need love. We need love to exist, you know?
Everyone should have a friend like you. People outside of our world don't understand what a good friend you are.
I appreciate that, and appreciate your friendship. And I appreciate that the fans allow us to do something that we love. Really. Because we can't do it without the fans. You know, if you guys decide not to, just close it up. Close it up. It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. And so far, you've been telling us, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and we keep going. And we're over 33 million downloads. I just learned that word from Rob. Rob taught me that. Downloads. 33 million downloads. Sounds good. We downloaded 33 million. Whatever the hell that means, it's a lot. And so. It's because of the fans. They allow us to talk about something we have a passion for, something that we care about, and something that obviously they care about. And they ask us to clear things up, to report to them, and that's what we're doing. We're reporting to our fans. And we appreciate that you're asking us to report to you. We appreciate that you are, again, that you're part of our, 185,000 subscribers and growing towards 1 million. And if you could do that, we'll be with you forever. We love you.
Well, along those lines, Teddy, along those lines, everyone is dying to know your thoughts on Brian Castano's big win, the new uncrowned champ at 154. He won't be officially recognized, unfortunately, but for me, he's the uncrowned champ. I thought he beat Charlo. I could have lived with a draw if two of the three judges had it 14-14. I could have lived with that. But Nelson Vasquez, I think that's his name, 17-11. He had the round. He only gave 3 rounds to Castano. I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this. We haven't spoken about it. Break it down for us. Yeah, everyone wants to hear what you thought.
Ken, when you use the word, when you open this up and you subconsciously, you're being brilliant right now. You are. You're being innate. You're being brilliant without even knowing you're brilliant, maybe. Someone like you probably knows you're brilliant all the time. But
dumb luck.
There was back in the 50s, there was an uncrowned, maybe it was the 40s, I think it was the 50s. The great historians out there, look it up. Like people like Mike Silver, he'll call me up. He watched our program. He's one of the great historians of boxing. He'll say, no, it was, it was 50 or 51, it was 49, whatever. But Billy Graham was the uncrowned champ. He was known as the uncrowned champ. I think it was Kid Gavilan that he fought. I'm not positive. And they felt that he got robbed, obviously, and they called him the uncrowned champ. Billy Graham. Listen, there's one difference. There's a few differences in this. It's a great way to describe it and get people's attention and to attach to history when there's history to attach to it. And it goes to show you that robberies, if there are robberies, haven't just started now, even though I talk about them so much now and how horrific it is for the sport when you have these robberies and how debilitating it is to the sport, where it chases fans away. It takes away the integrity. I mean, people talk about Pete Rose. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, baseball. I know I segue all over the place, but that's all right. I get back to the right place eventually. But and I know where I'm going, I think, anyway. Where Pete Rose, because of the gambling, they won't let him in the Hall of Fame because it took away the integrity of the game. What about bad decisions? I mean, it's always taken away. And so we banned Pete Rose, right? I think he should be in the Hall of Fame just purely for what he did, for breaking over 4,000 hits and being the hit king. I do. Forget about what kind of person he is. He's been punished enough just purely for his accomplishments as a baseball player on that diamond, I think he belongs in there. But I get it. You can't have people gambling on a game, the integrity of the game. You have to have an iron rule about that, and they're showing that. Because it will destroy the integrity. Well, why can't we have an iron freaking rule? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. About it when it comes to boxing, where if you get bad judges, and we've had plenty of them. Oh my goodness, where you ban them from the game. We banned Pete Rose, the great Pete Rose. Well, these judges have never done anything great like Pete Rose has. Never come close to doing anything great like Pete, given what he's given to the sport. I know he made those, I get it, the mistakes, but none of these judges have come close to giving anything the way that Pete Rose has given and had given to his sport. And you know what? These judges should be banned. Some of them banned. A guy like him banned. Now I'm going to take a turn that you didn't expect. But first I got to finish on this. Vasquez, if that's his name, 117, 111, ban him. I have no more patience. Yeah, Teddy suspend. Ban him. Yeah, Teddy, maybe you should ban him. But what? Somebody's just making me go to the ban because it's just so long that we've talked about that nothing's happened. It's like having a bad kid. You know, if you don't start punishing them, you don't start making them accountable at a certain age, guess what? It gets worse. Guess what? Then you try to do it later. It doesn't work. We've waited too long. So right now, for me, for the fans that I represent, that I talk to, that are good enough to come up to me and trust me and ask me about such thing and ask me to help the sport in the ways they have when I work for ESPN and when I do this now. I mean, you know, it's gone too long to just talk about suspensions. Ban them! Because it's almost like, you know, it's like having chicken soup when you have a cold. Yeah, it's nice and all, but it doesn't kill the germ. It doesn't kill the germ. It's chicken soup. It makes you feel good, especially if my wife makes it. She makes unbelievable everything she makes, and great chicken soup. Yeah, to make you feel better that way, but it won't. You need an antibiotic. You need something to kill the germ. You need to get rid of the germ. You don't suspend the germ. You get rid of the germ. These germs in our sports, Vasquez, one of those germs, get rid of them. Get rid of these germs. Get rid of the germs. I used to talk on ESPN about suspension. Suspend them. Bring them down to the minors. Do what baseball does. The umpire is doing bad. Bring them down to the minors. Take away that privilege. It's a privilege to have a license to be a pro judge. It is. It's a big responsibility. You got somebody's life in your hand, somebody's career in your hand. If you rob them, they might never get a chance to get a big fight again. You got their career. Listen, we take driver's license away where people are having too many accidents. Why? Because they can hurt somebody. Well, these judges, when they do these things, they hurting somebody. They're hurting the careers of these fighters, the futures of these fighters. Yeah, they're hurting somebody too. So just like it's a privilege, you know, to be, you don't have to have a driver's license. You earn a driver's license by showing that you earned it. And it gets taken away when you show that you don't deserve it. But you have to show you deserve it. Same thing with a judge's license. When you show you don't deserve, take the damn thing away. I used to be on ESPN saying, do what the baseball does, you know. They judge these umps. When they're doing bad, they take them out of the cycle. You know, they take them out of the rotation. And they send them down to the minors or wherever they send them. And they're not on the big games anymore until they show that they can get it right. Then they earn their way back. Now, I've been saying that for years. In boxing, that we need somebody to do that. The problem is we have nobody that does it. We don't have a national commission that does it like baseball, football, basketball. We don't. We have these individual state commissions that sometimes they're a joke. Yeah, I said it. Sometimes they're a joke. You're a joke, okay? And it's a bad joke. It's a joke on the fans. It's a joke on the fighters. It's a joke on the sport. It's a joke because they don't do freaking crap. They don't do diddly squat, these commissions. What are you commissioning? Really, think about it. I don't need Webster's dictionary here. Ken, think about it. Commission. Does that kind of lend you to the belief that you commissioned something, that you're doing something? What the frick are they doing? You got these bad judges, and you got worse ones, and it happens every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. It happens all the time, and you have these judges. And what does the commission do? What do they do? What do? They do nothing. The judge is back next week or maybe 3 days later if there's a show, and he's judging or she's judging again. Come on. That judge that years ago had it a draw with Canelo and Mayweather. Had it a draw. You can't cry, so you laugh. You laugh. She was back judging.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm the one who got it kicked out for a little while because I went on with my man Stephen A. He's the man. We screamed at the cameras. I screamed at the cameras on ESPN afterwards on SportsCenter for God knows how long. God bless the producers that night. They let me go. They let me rant. They let me go on. And you know what? The next day they finally had to do so. Or 2 days later, they finally had to suspend her. But she was back. They just did they did that yokey yoke, that little week, that little week. And then, oh yeah, we're going to do something. Then she's back, whatever, right after that. So in the end of the day, nothing gets done. So those ideas that I thought were good ideas to suspend them, and I thought they made sense, I thought they were responsible, I'm fed up. Just get rid of the germ.
Hey guys, quick break to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Privacy.com. Privacy.com lets you buy things online or send money using a virtual card instead of having to use your real credit cards or debit cards. I've said this before, but as someone who's had my credit card info hacked online, I now exclusively use Privacy.com for all my online purchases. It's free to use. It allows you to track all your online purchases in one place. You can even get 1% cash back on all your purchases with the Pro service. If you'd like to give it a try, head over to privacy.com/Atlas, and you'll automatically get $5 to spend on your first purchase if you sign up now. Again, free to use. Please check them out. It's a great service, and by signing up, you're also helping out the podcast, and we really appreciate it. Head over to privacy.com/Atlas, ATLAS, to try this free service and get $5 to spend on your first purchase when you sign up now. Today's episode is also brought to us by Athletic Greens. I love this stuff, guys. I've been preaching about it for the last couple years. I'm just back from the fights in Vegas, and I credit Athletic Greens with getting me home safely. I know I sound like a broken record, but honestly, I love this stuff. I take it everywhere. It's made from 75 whole food sourced ingredients. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and antioxidants. These guys at Athletic Greens spent 10 years with top nutritionists and doctors to create this formula. It's like an insurance policy for your body's health and immunity. So to stay on top of all your immunity needs with 12 servings of fruits and vegetables, you have no need for multivitamins or whatever else you might be taking. Athletic Greens has you covered. Athletic Greens has given our listeners 10 free travel packs with their first purchase. So whether you're looking to boost your energy levels, support your immune system, or address gut health, Athletic Greens is the way to go. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/Atlas to claim the special offer of 10 free travel packs with your first purchase. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Atlas.
Just get rid of the germ. Now, having said that, I'm going to tell you that in the end, the right thing happened, despite Vasquez, because it was a draw. Yeah, you didn't expect me to go back there, did you, people? Did you? But I will go anywhere I have to go to tell the truth, to tell what I believe to be the truth, from my years of experience as a trainer, as a broadcaster, as a fighter. I don't care. So I'll go down that road I just had to go, that rocky, tough road that I just had to go down, because it's still a problem when you've got people like Vasquez. It's still a problem. It's still a problem. And I'll tell you the rest of the problem. 75% of the people that watched the fight thought that Castano got robbed. And I'll tell you what the problem is. I'm with you, people. It was a draw, by the way. Maybe 1 point this way or that way, but it was a draw. There's nothing wrong with it. But I understand, to you good people out there, you good people that I care about, and you care about the sport. And that's why I care about you. I understand where your heart is. I understand where your mind is, that you're thinking enough is enough. But you don't even realize, I don't think, where you were taken. If you think about it and you watch it again coldly, without a germ like Vasquez involved, right? If you watch it just coldly, stoically, with no emotions, you watch it with no sound, you're going to say, yeah, Teddy, it was a draw. Or it was very close to being a draw. It was right there. It was right there. And sometimes judging is too subjective. We need to understand the criterion for judging. We need to send judges to schools, to seminars where there's no subjectiveness or very little, where it's this or that. It's about who lands the harder punches. It's about who dictates the pace of the fight. Who's the boss? It's about that. Who lands the most telling blows? It's about that. Yeah, we need to understand our criterion so people would say, well, I like this guy because, he looked kind of cute on the outside, and he was doing... No, not about looking cute on that. Who's effective? Who's effective? Who's the boss? Who's in control? Who's landing the harder, cleaner punches? But having said that, if you take this germ out of the picture and you watch this, you're going to see it was that close. You're going to see that Castano had a big lead, and you're going to see that Charlo came back like a horse down the stretch, coming down, that he came on and won a lot of late rounds. Yeah, he hurt Castano twice. There's no doubt. What, in the second round, the 10th round? I don't have it in front of me. I think it was the second round, 10th round. And I'll look at my notes in a minute.
That's
there were
right.
some rounds that could have went either way.
That's right.
Could have went either. Thank you, Ken. Could have went either way. But Castano had a nice lead. And then, again, Charlo started to dig into that, started to eat into that lead, laid down and use his power. He's a big guy for junior middleweight. He's got a big advantage over a lot of these junior. He's big, and his power shows when he needs it. When he needs it. He needed it against Tony Harrison. I thought he was losing that fight the second time. He got beat the first time. People were crying about it. I thought he got beat. And then the second time, he was getting beat. But then Harrison made a mistake. He stayed there a little too long. He got caught with the left hook. And, and he did what Wilder used to do. What Wilder, the heavyweight, pull it out of the fire because he has power. Makes up for a lot of things. It's a great eraser. And so... that eraser was there to help him down the stretch a little bit. The power, where he hurt him in the 10th round, where he took those late rounds. There's no doubt about it. But there's no doubt that Castano had built up a lead. And there's no doubt that it was a close fight. But the doubt is put there by guys like Vasquez. The doubt is put there like predecessors to Vasquez, people before him that have robbed the crap out of the sport, that have destroyed the sport, that have tainted the sport, that have damaged the sport, that have damaged the thinking of our great fans, that have put us into a paranoid state. Yeah, a paranoid state. So the 75% they showed on that TV that said, no, because I don't want to fight. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to argue with you in a good way because I love you. I'm with you. I'm on your side. I feel for you. But I'm going to argue with you in a way and explain it in a way that I can, in a way that you are on high alert, red alert, like DEFCON 5, DEFCON 4, ready for anything that could be coming because that alarm went on. Because soon as you heard 117, 111, you and me, just like Ken might have, like Ken, and I'm going to let Ken talk about it because he represents you guys as a fan. He can talk to you guys. He can talk to what I'm talking about, to how he felt, the same way as how you felt, and I'm going to have him do that. But I'm going to lay out the picture first. I got to paint the painting first. And the picture of it all is once it went to 117, 111, you forgot about everything. Right away. And you said, oh my God, here we are again. They're going to rob the guy. They're going to give it to the house fighter. They're going to give it to the promoter's fighter because that's what they do. Because that's how the boxing game works. Yeah, that's how they do. And yeah, there are fixed fights. Oh, did I say that? Oh, somebody's really upset. Oh, you're upset? I used that word, fixed? Oh, yeah, it's a powerful word. I shouldn't. Fixed! Yeah, sometimes there are fixed fights. Yeah, there are fixed. You don't need an envelope of cash in a cigar-filled room like they did back in the days of Frankie Carbo and Blinky Palermo and all those guys. And it happened. It did. It happened. They didn't need that. And then you had to keep out for investigation, all that stuff. But, and got rid of those guys. But, yeah, you got different guys now. You got these promoters, and there's only, let's talk about painting a picture. Let's paint the true picture. There's only 3 of them. There's only a few of them, right? There's 3 of them. You know who they are, right? Right, Hearn and Heyman, right, and Aram, and they all have their networks. They each have, Hearn's got DAZN, Aram's got ESPN, of course, and then of course you got PBC, Heyman, they got Fox, and they got Showtime. So that's their sugar daddies. Yeah, that's their sugar daddy. The networks are the sugar daddies. That's how they can do things. That's how they, right? That's where they get their money from. So they're together in this. They have their little thing and their little power play, and they want you. They want you. And one of the ways they get you is with undefeated records, with champs, with titles, with belts. Oh, don't even start about the belts. Don't even start. But that's where these organizations come. That's with all these belts, because the belts look good. They give authenticity. They give validity, they think. Bells and whistles, right? They think it gives, it draws you. It draws you because you want to see a belt. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry you're being used that way. I'm sorry to inform you that way. I am. But yeah, they give, so they keep their guys, so they protect, they protect their business. They make sure that they're in cahoots with the organization. They get the belts, plenty of belts, million belts. Oh, you need a belt? I have one order for you. I have it delivered right to you, quicker than Amazon. Just really call WBC, WBA, WBO now. Now there's 4 of them. IBF, right? I'll get you a belt. Get it, boom, jiffy, real quick. All right. Okay. Now, what happens is they gotta take care of their guys. So yeah, you guys know the drill. You guys have been down that road. You guys have been seeing this for too long. Where the promoter's fighter, the house fighter, right, is always treated right. And again, it's not an end. Yeah, it's fixed. How it's fixed? It's fixed by only. What did I just tell you? The whole sport of boxing only has 3 guys. De La Hoya basically, he's gone. I mean, he's barely hanging on. He's barely hanging on. Hey, poor Oscar, the poor guy, he's back to fighting again. That's all you need to know. I mean, he's done great things. He was a great fighter, all that stuff, really. And he had a big moment there with the promoting and stuff. But once he lost Canelo, he's working on fumes. So you got these 3 guys, only 3 guys that are controlling the whole sport. And so, how's it fixed? Well, a judge knows that if the right guy doesn't win the fight, the promoter's guy, they ain't working no more. Yeah, you heard it. There's a way to keep them from working. Yeah, there is. These power brokers, they can say, we don't want that judge. We want our other judges. Which ones? The ones that are a little friendlier. So there's certain guys that they know, not everyone, but a lot of them, that they understand that there's only 3 places to basically that are controlling the whole business of boxing, working, with TV, with big fights, with meaningful fights, with fights where they could get paid, right? With fights where, it's got some punch to it, if you will. So they understand that's not a lot. So they understand that when they're working, that's the only guys that are going to be really bringing fights to TV. There's no one else. That's it. So if you get on their bad side, there's no other side to get on. You got it, guys? There's no other side. That's it. Those are the 3 kings, if you will. the kingmakers, the power brokers, right? And they control everything. So if you don't make them happy, if their guy doesn't win for their network, you might not work again. Where you gonna go? That's it. Where you gonna go? So it doesn't have to be an envelope. It's understood. It's understood that you don't do the right thing. Hey, you know what? You might not be there no more, right? And there's guys that do the right thing, but there's guys that fall into this. There are. And Vasquez might very well be one of those guys. Not the smartest guy, not too brilliant, because that's how cocky people get when they're used to getting away with things. You know that, Ken. When people are used to getting away with things and they don't get their wrist slapped, and boxing, nobody gets their wrist slapped. We just talked about it. You get arrogant. You get stupid. You get careless. You start to think you're above the law. You've heard all those terms, haven't you? With the politicians, they do things because they're above the law. You can't hurt them. You can't get to them. So this guy, instead of making it a little bit more believable, he makes it 117, 111 because he's a cocky son of a gun. He's an arrogant. He's so used to all he knows is he's got to take care of his guy. He's got to take care of. He's got to do what he got to do. Now it's either that or it's incompetence. But I'm going to argue, who could be that incompetent? Who? I'm going to make a scenario. The only scenario I could buy, Ken, the only scenario I could buy for that it was incompetence, that he never judged a fight before. Well, if he never judged a fight before, what's he judging a championship fight for the title? Okay, Teddy, calm down. Calm down, Ted. Calm down. You're right. I got you. But we are just making scenarios. That's all we're doing. Now, if he happened to be a guy that never judged a fight before, and he came from another sport that's, say, soccer, right? Maybe this is his first fight. Maybe he's thinking, hey, in soccer, you're not allowed to use your hands. It's a penalty. You're not allowed to use your hands. So I'm going to penalize Mr. Castano because he used his hands a little too much. So if you go down that, maybe I could accept that. If he was a soccer judge before and he never judged a fight before, I could get the incompetence. I'm with you. But no, this was a championship fight for all the marbles, for all the belts, even though it's 4 belts. Oh, my God. But anyway, it's for all these trinkets, right? Whatever. That makes everyone happy and allows the business to go the way it goes. He did fights before. So he can't be that incompetent, can he? So what is it then? Corruption. Something corrupt. Something along the lines of what I just gave you an explanation. So to the fans out there, there's 75% that thought Castano. I get it because when a germ like Vasquez says 117, 111, you say, here we go again. We're being hosed. Here we go again. They're taking care of the house guy. Here we go. But no, because the other guy's got it right. It still takes a majority. And the other guy's got it right. And it was either draw or very, very, very close. But what got you guys in arms that made you go crazy to say, no, he won, is because of what Vasquez did. Because you were reacting to that. You were reacting to being hurt for so many years. Being just banged over the head by these damn judges. And it's not right. And you're reacting to that, Ken. And right away you're fighting back. And you're not getting a chance to really say, no, you know what? Take away Vasquez from the equation. You know what? It was a close fight. It could be a draw. And I'll tell you one other thing. The way the fight went. See, at the end of the day, unless you knock a guy down or really destroy a guy, it's 10-9, right? It's not 10-8. So here, different ways to get to 10-9. And here's something very interesting to you 75% that thought Castano won. And I'm with you. I really am. That's why I'm taking the time to break it down this way. But the rounds that Castano, because of his styles, styles make fights. And I always talk about geography. It's always about geography. It really is. I'd always say that. And now I'm sure some other people will grab it and say it too somewhere. But it really is about geography. Who gets to the location, to the real estate? Who buys the real estate in that ring that they need to project their talents the best, to be able to use their talents, their abilities to the best? Who gets that geography? Now, the geography for Mr. Charlo is on the outside. He's big. He's a big junior middleweight. Wow, that's one of his big advantages in that division. But anyway, he's big, he's long, and he wants to control the outside, right? He wants to do it as a boxer with the control that. Now, Castano is short, and he's, his length isn't as good. He's got to have the geography inside. So here's the thing. So when Castano got the geography inside, he won the rounds. And he did his job. He worked. And he worked intensely. And there was a lot of work going on. A lot of noise, if you will. A lot of commotion. A lot of stuff where you took notice. Really. You know what I mean? Some things make you take notice. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might have a guy coming down playing the flute. Doesn't really make you take notice, does it? No. Doesn't make me take notice. But then you got a guy banging a freaking drum. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, it's a drum. Hey, Teddy, there's a flute. Forget that. A what? Look at the drums. It makes you take notice. So when Castano was fighting his fight, which he did beautifully, inside, banging to the body, going up and down, getting inside, you take notice. And what you notice is it's still 10-9, but he won the round bigger. It's a louder round. It's more of a bang. It's a bang-out round. It gets your attention because he wins that round. Right, Ken? You with me? He wins the rounds that Castano won. He won bigger and louder than the rounds that Charlo won. Quieter on the outside, jab, every once in a while look for a right hand. Bop, bop. You know, controlling range, controlling distance, staying on the outside. Those rounds, there wasn't as much to separate the fighters. He won them, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't as much to separate. The rounds that Castano won, there was a lot to separate. He won them more convincingly. He won them louder. He won them bigger. And you took attention to that. You took notice to that. So some of you 75% out there that do it, because he won the rounds bigger, you say he won the fight. But here's the thing. It's still 10-9. Any way you slice it, any way you cut it, it's still 10-9. It don't matter how big he won the round, unless he really hurt him and damaged. That's different. Then you get 10-8. But other than that, it's 10-9. So he won these rounds bigger, with a larger separation, louder, and you took notice of it. And the other guy, nice and quiet. We're in a library here. Don't make too much noise. You might get thrown out. Nice and quiet.
Maybe with the exception of round 2 and 10 where he looked...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's what I said. Yeah. He hurt him twice. And I get it. And that's what helped him catch up. That's what helped him catch up where he fell behind in the rounds that he fell behind because of the way Castano was winning those rounds and the way he was winning them on the inside, where he was more dominant in the rounds he won than Charlo was dominant in the rounds he won, except for the two. The second, don't forget that Charlo got hurt once too. He got hurt once too, but in the second and 10th rounds were the rounds, as I say, that he got hurt. So I wanted to take the time on this broadcast, on this show, to lay it all out. Yeah, there's crooks out there. Yeah, there's fixed fights. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people that don't like that. You know, there's a little guy. He's short and he's little. He likes to tell tales. he likes to tell tales. Not always true tales. But anyway, I know that there's guys there that don't appreciate the truth in that way and don't appreciate me using the word corruption in the sport. But you know what? I don't like to use it either. But I don't like what it does. I don't like what it does to the careers of these fighters and to the families of these fighters. I don't freaking like it! Okay? I don't. Okay? So I don't give a freaking you-know-what into a place of you-know-where. I don't care. I just care about trying to make this sport a little better. A little bit better for the fans and for the fighters. And for too long we've had this problem. And Vasquez just awoken the sleeping monster that's never that far asleep. That's never that far asleep. He gets woken up in boxing way too often. And he woke him up again. He woke him up on the wrong night. when it wasn't a robbery. It wasn't a Brinks heist like we've seen so many times. It wasn't. It really wasn't. Yeah, you could go if you wanted to go here and there. I got you. You want to say that he won the Castano? I got you. I'm with you. But the draw's not really wrong. But what was wrong was the 117, 111. That it brought back these memories.
Well,
it brought back these thoughts. And hopefully I laid it out the way I wanted to lay it out. I think I did. And now I want to hear from you, Ken. Really, from my heart, for the fans out there that talk to me when they see me. I want to hear it from you, or for what I just said, how you were influenced by that, how you felt from that and during that.
Well, I'm glad that you broke it down the way you did. And when I introed the fight, I said I don't have a problem. And for the fans, we never discuss the fights until we get on the show, purposely so we could give you like the authentic takes from my perspective and from Teddy's. And as I said in the intro, although I called him the uncrowned champ, I said I don't have a problem with a draw. I thought the kid won the fight. I could live with, if everyone scored it 14-14, I can accept that. Okay, it was really close. I liked his action, like you said. His rounds were a little bit louder, save for the second and 10th when Charlo looked really good and strong and he had him on the ropes. And first off, credit to both guys. They both looked awesome. They were both rocked at times. They both came back. It was an awesome back and forth battle. Credit to Charlo because I thought he was way behind and he came on strong late in the rounds and fought like a champion. It's just hard, like you said, to rally behind Charlo when you know that he's getting the gift. He's getting every benefit of the doubt. You know, before they read the scorecards, I'm like, I know that this kid's not going to win. They're not going to give him the win. Maybe we can squeak out a draw. But I know that if it's either a draw or Castano won. There was no argument for Charlo winning the fight. So when they read that 17-11, I'm like, how did this guy think that Castano only won 3 rounds? That was the problem I had. Is like, just explain to me, show me, because you could find 5 to 6 rounds that Castano won convincingly. So that was the biggest problem, is there's no way in hell that you can't find 3 rounds for this kid. So I wonder when he's going through the scorecard, to your point about like, I got to do what's right for the promoter, if he's just like, screw it, no one's even going to pick up on this. I'll give him this round. Hopefully the other judges are on board with me and we can squeak this out. But when you're so one-sided that no one else can get on board with the level of like craziness that you're up to, you get the result like this, like with Adelaide Bird, where you look at the scorecard and you're like, what the hell? I almost feel like those judges look at the others like, thanks a lot, guys. You threw me under the bus. I thought we were all in on this together. And no one could be that crazy, man. 17-11, there isn't a person. I don't even think Charlo's camp could look at that and be like, yeah, he only won 3 rounds. I bet you even they were like, dude, can you like be a little less discreet? That's crazy. So that was my take on it. I can live with the draw. I can live with it. I can't live with 17-11. That's the part that...
No, I understand that. The last thing I want to just get from you, and you said it beautifully, but the thing that I want to put a little more emphasis on, I want to just color in a little bit more. You said it right. You did. You came on and you said, the uncrowned champ, because a lot of people felt that. But then you also said, I can live with the draw. I can't live with the 117, 111. So you did that. You did that perfectly. What I want to know, from just like the fans, it's about emotions. They call fans because it's short for fanatic. It's short for fanatic. That it's not about sometimes anything other than emotion. It's about you loving your team. You're loving your fighter. It's your guy. You're a fan. You can be emotional. You're allowed to be emotional. You get moved by emotions. So as a fan, when you heard, forget about what you just saw. You just saw a good competitor. You said it beautifully. You saw a good tight fight where one guy get ahead and the other guy fought back to bring it close, to get back, to get back because he knew he was behind. And more proof to that is his corner. All you had to hear was Charlo's corner, Ken.
Exactly.
All night. You're behind.
I'm glad you mentioned
knockout
that.
To win. Yeah, I'm glad I remembered it. You're behind. You need to come back. You need to win rounds. You're blowing rounds. You're losing rounds. You need a knockout at the end. So we know what we're on the page. We're on the right page here. And he did do that. He did come back, to his credit, and he earned a draw because he was losing a fight. He earned a draw by coming back the way he came back. But having said all of that, and having witnessed all of that, and seeing all of that, and saying, okay, one part of your mind, the part that is more cerebral, that's more calmer, the part that's a little separate from the fan part. There's different parts of the brain. There's different dimensions, the different sides to the brain. So the side that is just more analytical, that's like you're talking about, he came back. Okay, he tightened this fight up. He did what he had to do. This could be close. This could be close. This could be a draw. But then, the other side, when you heard Vasquez say 117, 111, here's the question to you. Were you, from that point of view, having been down this road before, seeing these robberies before, were you influenced by that?
100%.
When you
100%. Because like I said to you from the beginning, like I said, okay, I can reluctantly accept a draw, although I think Castano won the fight. I can accept that. But when they said 17-11, I was just like, here we go again. Most corrupt sport in the world. How are they going to do this to this kid? But then,
were you influenced? But were you influenced in a way that I think some of the fans were?
Exactly.
Were you influenced in a way where suddenly you said, yeah, it wasn't close? Like where you started thinking, because you're thinking they're robbing, because they're looking to do an injustice once again, here they come in to do an injustice, a robbery in broad daylight. Well, not broad daylight, but right in front of the cameras. Here they are, they're going to do a robbery right in front of everybody. They don't care. They're so bold and arrogant when it comes to this stuff. They don't care. So they're about to do that. And was there a part of you when you were kind of, the sirens went off, because the 117, 111 was like a siren. When the sirens went off, did you suddenly say, no, to kind of push away from that, say, oh, since they're robbing this guy, no, I'm not satisfied with it. Castano won. Because they're doing that because Castano won. They're doing that because Castano won.
Definitely.
And then did it start to take... That's what I'm saying. And that's where I think there's 75% of the fans out there that are saying Castano won. I think that's part of being influenced by that. I'm not trying to control you guys. I'm not. You make your own decision. You watch the fight the way you want to watch the fight. I'm with you. But I think that was a component of this. I think that was a dimension of this that night. That, just like you just said, Ken, as a fan, that once you heard the sirens go off and that they're looking to rob this kid, 117, 111, you forgot about that it was a close fight. You started to just think one thing. They're robbing this kid.
That's right.
They're robbing this kid because he won. Because he won the freaking fight. And you know what? It's been validated now. Forget about my eyeballs. It's been validated now by what the judge just tried to do.
That's right.
And I think that was going on. And let me just look at my notes. I want to tell you one thing here for the fans out there, so they know that I'm looking at this in a very serious way. There were close rounds. I made notes. There were close rounds. So I'm willing to give you that, where I can understand, a sway here or there. I wrote down there were close rounds. The fifth was very close. I gave it to Castano. And it could have went the other way. It could even went even. There was some rounds was so close I could have made it even. I try not to make even rounds, but sometimes you should. You shouldn't be afraid to make an even round. Sometimes. Rather than make a mistake and go somewhere you shouldn't go. But anyway, there was close rounds. The fifth was very close. I gave it to Castano. The ninth, for me, was very close. I gave it to Charlo. And even the 11th, after he was hurt, in the 10th, was close. And I gave that also to Charlo. So I went on the side of Charlo in 3 close fights, in 3 close rounds. 2 of them I went with Charlo, and I came up with a draw. And I still went with Charlo, and I came up. So I easily get you out there that I could have went the other way, and I could have came up with Castano. I get that, but I just don't get the 117-10. No, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to finish on this. I'm going to say it and correct myself. Unfortunately, I do get it. That's the sad part. That's the sad part. The reasonable part of my brain, there is a reasonable part of my brain, believe it or not. There is. You could talk to friends of mine and people who know. There's a reasonable part of me. There is. My family will tell you, they'll go on the record for that. They're vouch for me. But the reasonable, just experience part, of my brain, understands. It understands how a fight can be judged and how one round can go this way or that way. My experience, I understand that. I do. Unfortunately, what I said I don't understand, but unfortunately, with my experience, I do understand, unfortunately, is how you can get 117-111. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. And like I said, it can only be corruption or incompetence. And I just argue that I just argued before, how somebody who's supposed to be experienced and know what they're doing in this game, how can they be that incompetent? How? How can you explain it to me? I'm willing to listen. How can you be that incompetent? That incompetent that you make it that, and where all these other judges that have done that, that's where you can't ignore the fact that there's something called corruption that's out there. You can't. To ignore it is, well, it's not being honest. It's not being honest with the body of proof that's been put out there, that the way the business works, the way the business is set up. It's a business and an environment of business that is set up, and I'll finish with this. It's set up to be corrupted. It is. It is, with no policing, really, with no, but there's no, balancing of things, of both sides. There's nothing in place to properly police this sport. It's set up in a way where there's no separation between the people that are supposed to be making the rules and the people that are making money. There's no separation. There's no separation between, church and state. There's no separation between the people that are supposed to regulate the sport and the people that want to do nothing but make money in the sport. And when that happens, corruption comes about. Because really, if you leave it to human beings' devices, sometimes they're going to say, hey, this is a chance for me to make a little extra money over there. Nobody's going to do anything to me. Nobody's going to put me in jail. I think I'll make a little extra money. There's nobody watching. Maybe I'll put my hand in that cookie jar. I know I'm not supposed to. I know that, supposed to be leaving these cookies alone. There's other people that want to get some. But maybe I'll just take one. I'm not really, in their mind, they're not hurting anybody. They're just getting an extra cookie. Well, these judges have gotten too many extra cookies for too long. And you know what? To my best of my ability, I'm going to freaking make sure that they don't. The best I can. And that's it.
Open invite for Nelson Vasquez to come on and discuss his scorecard with us whenever he likes. Love to hear from him.
Yes, it is.
Well, Teddy, on another note, we've got the heavyweight trilogy between Fury and Tyson. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder pushed out to October. Coincides with the beginning of college football. Tons of marketing and advertising opportunities. The conspiracy theorists will say maybe Tyson Fury didn't have COVID and they were worried about pay-per-view sales. Again, conspiracy theorists may say that, not necessarily me. But what say you?
I understand that. I understand that because that has happened. Fights have been. There's a precedent for it. The fights have been canceled because the pay-per-view or the ticket sales, whatever you want to, whichever side of it, haven't been good, have been slow. And if the ticket sales are slow, it projects poorly towards the pay-per-view. So they can read, they can read the, they
read the tea leaves.
They know how to read the tea leaves. They know which way the wind's blowing. These guys, they do. So they know what time it is, and it could be a poor time for the fight. So they could pull the plug. I don't know that that's the case here. I know it's possible, and I know that the conspiracy theory is out there. I get it. I understand it. And maybe it is, but I don't think so. Because a lot of people are going to say, nowadays after testing positive for COVID, they say furious negative, like so quick. But who knows how long he had it before being tested? Because the only reason he got tested from all the news out there is because someone in his camp had it. So he could have had it for X amount of time before he ever get tested, and then by the time he got tested, he was a few days away from it being out of his system, and then he gets the negative. So that's a very viable possibility, a very valid possibility that it's no shenanigans going on here. I get you, I'm with you, especially in this sport. Just because you're paranoid don't mean they ain't nobody trying to get you. I'm with you. But just because he tested positive and then days later he tests negative, there can be explanations. I just gave one. He could have had it and never knew he had it, and then finally gets tested, and then, okay, he has it, and then 2 days later, 3 days later, whatever it was, I don't know, 4 days later, bang, you don't have it. Hey, come on, that sounds fishy. No, it don't. It could be a scenario where that could make sense. It could make sense. And it could have been a false positive, too. It could have been. It's possible. I don't think so. But it could have been a false positive, too, that it said he was positive. That happens. You get false positives. You never know. You never know. And like I said, it was reported initially that someone in Fury's camp had it before him. Now the fight's off until October. And again, people are going to say that... why is it postponed that long? And that's the other part that I'm hearing. I want to cover it all. Some people are saying, oh, Teddy, why is it postponed so long if he's negative now? Well, first off, you don't know how long it can and will remain in his body. You need time to be sure that you got rid of the virus. You just don't know. Yeah, I know what it sounds like in this fishy with these promoters and this. I get it. But I want to be fair, and I want to be responsible here. And when I go crazy responsibly. Yeah, even when I go crazy, I do it responsibly because I think there's a reason to go crazy. I'm not going crazy right now. I'm just saying that that they put it off to October. It seems like a long time if he's negative, but again, you don't know how long. They don't know a lot about this virus. They don't. And you don't know how long it stays in your system sometimes. Everyone's different. And one thing you don't want to do is come back too soon. I think Povetkin came back too soon. Yeah, I do. Pressure was put on him to fight sooner maybe, and all that stuff. I won't go into it. I went into it 2 podcasts ago, and so I won't go into it again into all that. But to get the payday. But Povetkin, when he fought the rematch with Dillian White, I know Povetkin was 40-something. I get it. But when he fought, he didn't look right from the beginning. He didn't look right. It looked like he was getting staggered by the national anthem. I mean, he was wobbly before he ever got hit. It looked It looked bad. And I think it's a good possibility that he came back too soon and was still affected by the virus. Or if it wasn't still in him, he didn't have enough proper time to train, and get ready after he suffered the virus, where he was still weak, where his body wasn't 100% back. I really feel that way. So you don't want that to happen if you're Fury, if you can avoid it. And in this case, you're the money guy. You're the golden goose. You're really the guy. We say both guys. No, he's the guy with the title. He's the guy who won the last time. So, he's the A side right now. Yeah, right now he is, like it or not. So he can call the shots. It revolves around him right now. And he can call the shots. And if he feels he needs to October, hey, if I'm the trainer, I'm doing the same damn thing. I want as much time as I might not even be satisfied with October. I don't give a damn about the promoters. I care about the fighter and about him being 100, not 95, not 85, not 98, not 99%, 100% ready for this freaking fight against a dangerous guy. A dangerous guy who can still punch. He can't fight, but he can still punch. He comes up short in a lot of dimensions of fighting, but, and of course, in his behavior after the fight with all the excuses and all that stuff. That wasn't good. But as far as getting down to the nitty gritty, getting down to the facts, getting down, just to what happens in the ring and the physical aspects of it, he can punch like hell. You can't play games. You can't be 98%. You can't be anything but 100% when you're fighting a guy that dangerous. And again, if I was the trainer, I might have waited to the new year. Yeah, people go crazy. I don't care. If that's what I felt I needed, to get a full, good, clean camp, yeah, that's what I might have done. But whatever. I think there's explanations for all of it. And I understand the conspiracy theories. I understand all of that. I get it. I get all of it. I gave you my feeling about all of it. And hopefully that satisfies the people out there in some way, that needed to hear something maybe from, somebody in the business that could talk on experience with such things and at least what my thoughts would be.
Well, thanks for doing that, Teddy. I appreciate it. Guys, we have an exciting interview with Dustin Poirier coming up in the next few days. In addition to talking to Dustin about the fight, Teddy breaks down some of the things that have gone on after the fight, including the broken leg and some of the assertions that maybe he was going in with a broken leg, but we gave a pretty thorough breakdown on that and all things related to the leg in that episode with Dustin. So please tune in for that if you're interested in hearing it. Teddy, this was a good one. I appreciate all your input.
I appreciate you, Ken, and I'll just tag that for you real quickly. That I don't do this too often. You guys know. I think we put our best foot forward always. We try to with everything we do. And try to do the right thing for the sport and for you guys and touch on all the things with these interviews, on all things. We touched on some very interesting things with Dustin, who's not only a great champion, but a great human being, and an honest human being. And we touched on some things that I don't think you'd normally would hear them, to be quite frank. You wouldn't normally hear them. And he's such a champion, he's such an honest guy. When I approached it to him, he does what he does. He goes forward. He goes forward, and he deals with it, and he says what he believes. And I think that it was a very interesting and in some ways powerful interview that you people will enjoy, I hope.
Yep, that's for sure. Well, Teddy, thanks for doing this. Guys, thanks for being with us. Please, as always, subscribe to the show, leave some comments, share the links. We appreciate you all, and we'll be back with you very soon. Take care. All right, guys, very happy to be joined now by Ben Amanna, the founder and CEO of BoxRaw. BoxRaw, as we've discussed in the past, coming out with a special Teddy Atlas collaboration, the number 36 on the back, 36 minutes to make life fair. Ben, nice to meet you and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor. I've been watching this for a long time, so to be on here is a real honor, but also a little bit nerve-wracking. So thank you.
Well, don't be nervous. The line looks, the new gear looks incredible. I love it. The basketball shorts and the hoodies are my favorite. It really does look great.
Yeah, man, the feedback's been insane, actually. Really, really good feedback. I think for us as a brand as well, it's nice for us to sort of venture outside of typically what we've done today. I think the purpose and meaning behind the collaboration has made this all the more better than just a nice product.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about what the, go ahead, Teddy.
No, I was just going to say your company BoxRaw obviously has a BoxRaw. I mean, it tells you right there. It obviously has a close connection for you with the sport of boxing, from its name to all its affiliations, with fighters and aspects of the sport. Where's that begin? What's the genesis for this?
The sort of short to mid-length story of that. Starting off with the vision, right? I think most importantly, understanding why we exist. We exist to be the reason why the world got into boxing. We're trying to shift the narrative of the sport away from boxing being viewed as just this elitist sport that only a few can partake in, but instead show that anybody, any age, gender, socio-demographic group, you can take up the sport and really have it impact your life. And I suppose where that comes from, I got into boxing at the age of 12 so I could learn how to fight, right? I had no interest in boxing, knew nothing about the sport. I just wanted to learn how to fight. Parents came from India, Christian missionaries, moved back to England at the age of 6, bullied most days, chased home most days, a lot of gang violence, got stabbed at the age of 11 with a pen. Come age 12, I realized it was time to stand up. So I joined the boxing gym, the local amateur club, and boxing took over. And, very quickly, the bullying stopped. I was walking a lot more confident. I could handle myself much better, but I realized that it was more than just, the practice or art of punching with your fists. It taught me the values of discipline, mindfulness, love, and all these characteristics, which still to this day, people don't associate with the sport of boxing. And boxing just took over. At the age of 15, I started working at the boxing gym. The coach there allowed me to lie about my age on a college application form. So I became a personal trainer at the age of, and thanks to Asian genetics, I had a moustache, so I was able to pass off as 18. Boxing carried on to take over, went to university, started a boxing club. At 19, I won the national championships. The boxing club at the university grew to the largest society there. We had over 950 members. And at that time, the second largest club was, I think, rugby or lacrosse with like 200 members. So we weren't just slightly bigger, we were astronomically bigger. And what was crazy was that people weren't, the motives of people getting into sport were completely different, right? So back in the streets, back in Coventry at home, it's a very much a working class, lower class background of people trying to get into the sport. I go to university, I'm around an affluent group of people now, and their intent is completely different, but what brought them together was this love. And I think, it's the energy you get in a boxing gym, whereby everyone's so fixated on their own goals, but at the same time, so complementary to one another. They're still pushing each other. You spar, you fight with the best of intentions, positive intent. And that was always what was most crazy to me. So, post-university, a string of businesses. And I remember I was running down the street one day in this Adidas tracksuit. I remember just thinking, I want people to know I'm training for a fight. I was proud to box, but the brands that came before us, they just focused on the end result, fight night, boots, gloves, shorts. And that's great, right? That's the show business of the sport. But really what's most magical is the journey to get to that point. And that's the part that was never really talked about. And then as I'm looking and thinking more, there's a gap in the market for this space within boxing. And then just, going back to those sort of core disciplines and so the core values of what the sport entails, discipline, the obvious one everyone can relate to. Mindfulness, the very notion of hitting a moving object while it's trying to hit your back, while you're protecting your head, protecting your body, moving your feet and lower body in sync with the upper body. It requires focus like nothing else. You can't think about the past or imagine the future. You have to be present in the moment. And it's the only sport that does that. And then love, love again, which people don't associate with boxing, but you'll know this, Ted, right? Boxing gyms don't judge, at the age of 12, being a brown Christian, I could never really relate to anybody, right? So the brown guys, they were Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, the Christians, they were all white. So the boxing gym, they didn't care where I came from. All that mattered was where I was headed. And it was the same thing at university, these guys were people from all different cultures, different backgrounds, but still what brings them together is this commonality and love for the sport of boxing. So when it came to launching BoxRaw, the vision was simple: to be the reason why the world got into boxing. How do we bring more people into the sport and shift it? It's a cultural shift we're witnessing at the moment, whereby 60 years ago, the idea of running in the street in a pair of running trainers was completely unheard of. The only people that did that were the Olympians, people taking part in athletic tournaments. Then Nike came along, they popularized it, it became more popular in the mainstream. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the idea of yoga, it was done by yogis. Then you got brands like Lululemon, they popularized it. It's boxing's time now. People aren't just looking to compete. They're recognizing the mental benefits, the benefits of being in an empowered environment. So, very long story short, that was the sort of genesis to be the reason why the world got into boxing.
And maybe talk about what attracted you to working with Teddy. I know why most boxing fans, including myself, love Teddy, but maybe what attracted BoxRaw to collaborate with Teddy Atlas?
I mean, I grew up watching Teddy, right? Even before launching BoxRaw. And I think, Teddy, when did we meet? We met about 3 years ago at your place for Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah, with Lomachenko, right?
Yeah.
Was there.
I think it was after the Pedraza fight, I think.
Yeah, I think it was after the Pedraza fight in Madison Square Garden or at the arena there. I don't know if it was the big garden or the small arena at the garden, but it was in New York.
Yeah, the day after, right? The day after the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went over, Ken. We went for lunch, and we hit it off. I was talking to Teddy about about the charity that we've got, Boxing is Love, and he resonated instantly, right? So in terms of the why, we've kept in contact ever since. And we've been flirting with the idea of doing this collaboration. I think we planned to launch it actually last year, but then. But I think less about sort of what Teddy's done, but more about what Teddy stands for, and the philosophy behind the 36 line. We get hit all the time by boxers, people in the sport, by people wanting to do collaborations. But if it doesn't mean anything, we're not just about trying to sell great products, right? There needs to be some mutual benefit to our audience, to their audience, whereby it means more than just garments, right? And it's the philosophy behind this. And, for some time we were looking at, wanting to launch some sort of line whereby, it had some tribute to basketball attire, things like that, but we never had the number that meant anything. And the moment that Teddy brought this up about 36 minutes to change your life, it was like, bingo. It makes sense.
Where can people see the new line? Where can they purchase it, etc.?
So it's all on boxraw.com/36. The whole collection's there. Keep an eye over the next sort of 6 to 12 months as well. There'll be a lot more things being added to that collection, to that philosophy. Right now we went for sort of a premium, lifestyle athleisure sort of ethos with that. But now moving forward, we're going to diversify. But yeah, at the moment, boxraw.com, soon to come, hopefully, to some retail stores, some select retail stores.
I was going to say, I've seen this stuff and it really is attractive, good looking gear that I'm looking forward to getting some myself. So congratulations on the collection. It looks beautiful.
You're looking to get some or buy some? I'd like to understand that a little clearer.
Buy. I'm always here to support my friends.
I got plenty of. You're getting some. Don't worry, Ken. You could want to buy some extra. Go ahead. Go buy some extra. But you're going to get some. That's already been figured out. Ben, I even tell you. Ben asked me for a list through my daughter of people that will get some. And guess what? You made the list.
Oh,
okay?
You're the best. But I will buy some as well.
You both made the list. Listen, I gotta delve a little bit into this. I'm gonna use your own words. A moment ago, Ben, when you talked about brown people not being standing out a little bit of not being thought of as Christians, as when you were in the gym and you were separated. That's the great thing about this sport, and that's the great thing about the embracement of this sport with the clothing, is that there is no prejudice, there is no separation, there is no brown and white and different taints of colors or tints of colors. There's none of that in boxing. It's the only place I've ever seen it through my whole life where there is nothing but the journey that you both have ventured into that, going to a place that most people can never go to, a place that's dark sometimes, a place where you're looking for the light. You got to find the light. You got to bring your own freaking light. But a place of doubt, a place of fear, a place of inhibitions, a place that has all kinds of hidden things from your past that can suddenly come and haunt you, that you're willing to get into a ring with another human being You don't even know what color they are. You don't know what race they are. You don't know what religion, what creed they are. All you know is that the two of you are in this place that's a tough place to be, a scary place to be. And you know what? You got to find the light. You got to go into this dark freaking room, into that ring with all the things I just touched on, with all the things that we just talked to Dustin Poirier, one of the great fighters, one of the great champions that go. He talked about that. He validated all the things we're talking about just a little while ago when we did an interview with him, where you got to go into this place. And now it's about mutual respect. It's about understanding as a human being that you both are in a place that is scary, that you both are trying to find that light, that there's a venture, there's a journey to get through this, and that only people that have been through it can understand it. And there's a brotherhood. There's suddenly this special brotherhood that I wish it existed for all mankind and for all womankind. I really do. That it's not about a damn thing other than being human and being able to find your way to be better. Because when people get in the ring, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a way to be better in control of their fears, to be better understanding of their doubts, to be better embracing of the things that have happened to them in their lives, when they were told they would never make it, when they were told they were a coward, when they were told they were weak, when they were told they were yellow, whatever was freaking thrown at them, that they're trying to get through this place to show that they're better than that they're the best person, the best fighter that they can be. And that we all of us, whether we look at it this way or not, we all immersed in this fight every day. For me, I always say boxing is life. Boxing is life. We're immersed in this fight to find ourselves, to better ourselves, to know who the freak we are sometimes, to know if we, as I said, if we can be better, if we can be stronger, if we can dare to face the things that we have to face sometimes. And I've never, ever known a sport or any vocation in life that is completely ignorant of anything, completely oblivious of anything, completely just unknowing of anything other than the fight, other than getting through that as a human being. And I'm glad to be involved with your company because your company embraces that. And I hope people can feel that. I hope people can feel that this company does embrace that fight. You don't have to have hand wraps. You don't have to have freaking put your hands into the form of a fist. But you have to be ready to fight. You have to be ready to go into that dark and find your own light. Your own light. And we're all trying to do that every day. Every day. And if this can help connect the dots of that, this product, this clothing. Because look, I'm a bit of a historian. I can't help it because I'm 50 years almost in this business. If you go back to fighting, not just boxing, but any fighting, it was always, all the way back to the beginning of man, it was always about, getting ready for battle. Conquer or be conquered. Conquer or be conquered. It was always about having to fight, having to get through something. And then as we evolved and you looked at it and you looked whether it was the great Indian tribes getting ready and the great chiefs wearing a special headdress getting ready for the moment, or whether it was the samurai wearing a special uniform, or the Viking putting on, that hat. What was it for? It was to get ready for a fight. We were wearing clothing. We were preparing. And why? I always talk about the psychological part in this business. Why? To connect, to feel the moment, to feel the part, to feel like that samurai, to feel like that warrior, to feel like that fighter that it connects. Castano, my great mentor, would always say to me, Teddy, yeah, you got to do the training. We know that, the technique, the teaching, all of that. But to be a champion, you got to feel like a champion. And part of feeling like a champion is looking like a champion. So if you want to go out there and spend your money on buying robes for these young fighters you're developing, go ahead. Go ahead. And I did. I took some money that my father had been good enough to put away for me, and I went down with Castano down to Everlast it doesn't exist down there anymore, down on Bruckner Boulevard in the Bronx, and I bought robes, and I bought shorts, and I wanted a certain look, because I wanted these guys to feel the way they needed to feel, like worthy champions. So there's a connection. I didn't think I was going to talk that much about it, but I'm sorry, I can't help myself sometimes. Those things happen. It just comes out. But that's how I feel about your company, Ben. And I hope that the people, and I'll finish, and then I'll let Ken finish it up and put a bow on it, or you put a bow on it. But the 36, Ken touched on it. I've said it for my whole life in boxing, whether it was on ESPN, whether it was talking to some other medium, whether it was talking to fighters, that no matter where you've been, no matter what's happened to you in life, no matter what you didn't have, no matter your race, your creed, your religion, anything, who your parents are, anything, bad things that have happened to you, on one given night, if you're prepared and if you care enough and if you're driven enough, you can get in that ring and you can make life fair in 36 minutes. You can be champion of the world and make life fair. And I think everyone could connect to that. It doesn't have to be 36 minutes. You all have your own little 36 minutes of what I'm talking about. All of yous. And your little fights and your big fights. All of yous. And you can make life fair by facing what you have to face. By no matter what's happened in your past, no matter what happened yesterday, today you go in there, you feel the way you need to feel, you prep yourself the way you need to prep, and you go in there, and whatever it is that in the past you were having trouble facing it, go face it. Make life right. I've said my part.
That's beautiful. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. Ben, thank you for joining us. Anyone who's interested in checking it out, please go to boxraw.com/36. Is that correct, Ben?
That's correct, yeah.
That's it. Ben Amanna, BoxRaw, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. We look forward to seeing the close on all the fans at the fights. And thank you for the time.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Take care.